Alright, welcome back guys. Now, funny how one thing leads to another. So I'll put that on there. Okay guys, so got that panel on, and because this slides over this, it's pushing this out and there's a gap at the top here. So, as you can see I've already marked it, going to cut that out. Right guys, information sharing time again. Okay, so I've marked the line where I've got to cut out to fit around that Centurion panel. The thing is, this part here is in a groove, an already moulded groove on this, and there's another one here, and that'll, if I just score them with the back of a craft knife, I'm going to make myself a nice simple break line where the blade will eventually go through. So once you've done it enough, it gets to the stage where you can simply do this. Okay, so it goes nicely right along the top of that, still up there covering stuff. So I've just got to take out this last bit. Right, okay, and there we have it. Get our piece from the Centurion there. Got the offcut, turned around, beveled, screwed there, 3 screws. And we've got a screw in there. So if I take that screw off, the whole thing just comes off like that. Just to give you an update, I glued these on with some of my goo and screwed them on and held it. Now I've taken the screws out, and when I get around to filling things, I'll fill those holes. Fixed the buttstock on nice and strong. It's got a couple of bolts, top and bottom, nice and steady. I've filled up the hole at the back. Now I've got to cut a line through there because this is 2 pieces going across. So I was holding the 2 halves together. I've put on that bit. That's glued either side, but not down the centre. So all I've got to do is take out the 2 screws and it'll come apart. And I've done some air holes at the front for the want of trying to think of something better to do. Brilliant plan time. So what I've done, got a piece of L profile aluminium. Drill 2 holes in it. They're 1.5. So there's 0.5 over each end, which is, I hope, what size the drill is. Then what I've done is marked every 3.5 centimetres long here. So what I intend to do is put that on there, hold it flush with the top, at the mark, drill 2 holes through the aluminium. The reason I'm using aluminium is that way I won't gradually widen the holes and it'll become less accurate as I move on. So drill 2 holes, drill 2 holes, drill 2 holes, drill 2 holes, move on, and then drill them bigger and join them with a Dremel. Right, there we go. Nice little hole, a little bit of cleanup. Now, I'm not a genius because it took 3 tries to get it right. These first ones, the second drill hole kept hitting something underneath and deflecting the drill, so you have to be careful of that. Now I'm pretty sure there's nothing under there. I've had it open so many times, so I'm going to go along and drill them up. When you're drilling with the bigger diameter drill, you have to be really careful because if the drill wobbles or goes off center, it'll start cutting into the side of the hole and just ruin it. And as you can see, I've had enormous stuff up there. Like this one, the drill grabbed some plastic on the inside and just dragged the drill bit down. So I filled it up with some of my gum, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill the 2 little pilot holes like I did last time, and then use the big drill bit. This will probably end up being a montage. Standard motors from I think it's a Hyperfire, and the conveyor loader. I'm just going to touch the battery to the terminals. Here we go. Final bit of fabrication. Now, as I said, I was going to put a shroud around this to make this square. So, printed out myself a bit of graph paper. I've made a template of that space there. And I went and got one of these. It's a downpipe adapter from rectangular to round. But it is the perfect width for this muzzle plate. So what I'm going to do, wrap that around there, tape it on, then I can actually draw the profile I want to cut out of this piece. Right, there we go guys, taped on, and as you can see I've used the line of the graph paper on the inside to get it aligned. Now that's 5mm each square, there's 4 squares for 20, that's 15, so I've placed it at the bottom of the first square. So now get your marker and just let it run along. When it comes to cutting it out, I'll just, go real gentle, little bits at a time, and just gradually work it down. Now what I have to keep in account is this has a slight flaring. Now that's the bottom, so it's going to come out. Then wherever the edge of this meets that little bend, where it's also a change of direction, I'll heat it somehow, hot water, hairdryer, and just gently bend it. And also I have to remember to keep mounting tabs. So I'm going to need something at the bottom there like that, probably more than likely straight back, so it clicks in, and something at the top there. And I'll even put some on the side just to, I'll cut it with them in, and if necessary I can always just cut them off and get rid of them if they're too much of a hassle. Right, there's our little piece, cut to shape, still rough. And take off the tape now and the template. So let's have a look. So it's going to go in there. It's going to fit very nicely. The first thing I'm going to do is position it here, and I'm going to do it upside down so it sits quite nice. And just see how, even the slightest bending of this corner to make that come down and down causes the top to bow in. So it's going to require some heat to actually mould that to the shape I want. The plan was to put all sorts of cool little vents and holes in this, but I think I'm going to actually be limited to maybe a series of 3 holes, because it's quite thin. It's a lot thinner than I thought it would be. It's actually going to fit in like that, as you can see. Right, so there we are. We have a little shroud. So that fits in there. Right, now I did this out of this piece of plastic and it fits pretty good. Now that green there is just this PVC glue, and my attempts to heat these tabs and bend them over have actually damaged this, and I don't want to damage it anymore. Righty-righty, okay, so there's my little piece with the holes drilled, just so the putty can take purchase, and I've done my little trick with the plasticine, work out how much I need, so that's about the volume. It's a bit thick up this side, but there's corners to fill in and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'll weigh the plasticine, work out how much putty I need, and I'm going to put a tape line down on the inside about the same distance from all the edges, and fill it in and push it in, and not worry about the outside, because I can finish that later, because the whole point of these holes is for some of the putty to go through and help lock this bit down. And when that's done I can sand that off and just use a bit of Tamiya putty filler or something just for the little cracks. Okay, all done. So there's my putty in there. A little bit of cleaning up I've got to do, but it's easy enough to cut off when it's dry. So that side and the back's not too bad. That side I've really messed up, so a lot of sanding there. And then when it's dry and nice and secure, I'll fill the outside with just normal Tamiya body putty, fill up those holes. So I've turned one of these into this. Fits there perfectly, look at that. Right, just sort of show you this while I've done it. Just put the putty on here, smoothing it in with the fingers. This way I've got very little sanding to do. And see, you've got a nice smooth layer. I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm going to pull off the tape on this side. And here we go. Let's trowel this in here. Keep this over here so you can see everything happening. Yep. So always fill your big area first, because that's where you're going to need the most of it. And you push it in as much as you can, trying to not rip off the cheap grade of paper towel you've used to mask it off, which is really clever of me. Okay, lesson for next time, use plastic. Even just a plastic bread bag, it'd probably work. So there we go. So smoothing it straight off like that, and I've got a little bit left. And I'm sure I can find a spot where it can go. Yes, I've got an offensive hole. That's right. I think I pointed out very early in the build, just here, it needs to be covered. So I just put a bit in there and smooth it in with a bit of plastic scrap. I'll just pull this off so you can see how this works. So that's just the crappy paper towel coming off, and now the just general tape. This isn't Tamiya masking tape, by the way. This is just normal masking tape, two for a couple of bucks in my local hardware store. Okay, so you can see we've got a little blemish there, but that's easy enough to fix. While it's still soft, there we go. So that's pretty good straight across. So that'll just need a little bit of light sanding to finish off.